I expect you're tired. It's a long day up to London and back again.
Was it worth the journey?
Not really.
Miss O'Brien, might I ask what you've confided in Mr. Maudsley, but have kept from the rest of us?
Buckle up and secure your cloche hats. Rumors are swirling about the potential 7th season of Downton Abbey, set to grace our screens nearly a decade after bidding adieu. According to insider reports from the Daily Mail, filming has discreetly kicked off in recent weeks, veiled in layers of secrecy.
She slept and she seemed better. Then suddenly the fever came back.
O'Brien, thank you for the way you've looked after her. I mean it. I'm very grateful.
A source divulged, it was such a massive success previously, and there are countless untold stories left to explore, it would have been a shame not to continue. But before you dismiss this as just another revival of a classic TV series, consider this twist. Our television landscape has been sorely lacking in lighthearted, indulgent period dramas that are visually captivating, mentally undemanding, and suitable for all ages because, let's be real, watching Bridgerton with your parents can be a tad awkward. In an age inundated with dark crime shows and gritty true crime tales, a return to the elegance and simplicity of Downton Abbey could be just what the doctor ordered, offering a much-needed escape from the harsh realities of modern life. When the first season of Downton hit the screens on ITV in 2010, it became a sensation. Julian Fellowes' series mixed sumptuous costumes and elegant period settings with delightfully dramatic storylines for characters both upstairs and downstairs. Remember when Lady Mary, played by Michelle Dockery, had a rendezvous with a Turkish diplomat who conveniently passed away from a heart attack, leaving her and loyal servant Anna Smith, played by Joanne Froggatt, to deal with the aftermath? Or the conniving maid Sarah O'Brien, played by Siobhan Finneran, manipulative schemes? Toss in some sharp one-liners, often delivered by Smith's somewhat intimidating matriarch, and a strong emotional center, particularly with Lord and Lady Grantham's idealistic daughter Sybils, played by Jessica Brown Findlay, and you've got yourself a surefire hit. It's no wonder that at its peak, it drew in an average weekly audience of 11.5 million viewers. Granted, as the 6-season journey progressed, things started to get a little bit wild. Lady Mary's love interest, Matthew Crawley, played by Dan Stevens, whom she finally wed after numerous seasons of high-class longing, met a tragic end in a car accident just moments after meeting his newborn son and heir in what was probably the least festive Christmas special ever. Still, by this point, we were too invested in the main cast to look away. Would Lady Mary ever find happiness again? Would Lady Edith, played by Laura Carmichael, ever catch a break in love? And would the family dog Isis remain a part of the show after its name became associated with a terrorist group? Even though Downton officially wrapped up in 2015, it wasn't truly over. Spin-off films followed in 2019 and 2022, receiving generally lukewarm reviews but performing well at the box office. The transition to feature-length films didn't quite suit the show's style, as Fellowes had to rely heavily on dramatic set pieces instead of the intricate weaving of plots and characters seen in the best Downton episodes. Now that Fellowes is returning to episodic TV after giving the Crawley family a breather, there's hope for a return to the show's former glory. Picking up the story a bit later, allowing the characters to age naturally, opens up new possibilities. The lead-up to World War II saw many aristocrats struggling to maintain their family estates, with some flirting with far-right ideologies, reminiscent of Remains of the Day, which should provide fertile ground for storytelling. The potential cast lineup is still pretty unclear. How many more times can we bring back the ever-reliable but increasingly elderly Mr. Carson, played by Jim Carter, out of retirement to mentor a new recruit? He's practically the Cher of butlering, constantly announcing farewell tours, only to show up again to manage yet another important dinner party. And with Maggie Smith finally bidding farewell to the show, after a few years of hilariously shady remarks about her performances, "I didn't really feel like I was acting in those things," she told the Evening Standard back in 2019, there's a vacancy for a sharp-tongued old battle axe. I bet there are plenty of dames lining up for the role. Why should Downton Abbey make a comeback for another season? Well, despite finding some peace at the end of Downton Abbey: A New Era, it's clear that peace won't last long. The looming Great Depression, followed by World War II, means more tough times ahead for the Crawley family. Throughout the series, we've seen them struggle to maintain their way of life in a rapidly changing world. And now they face even greater challenges with economic downturns threatening their financial stability. Even plans like Tom and Henry Talbot's business venture don't seem so rosy in the face of such adversity, but a new season could tackle these issues head-on while delving deeper into the stories of the younger generation. And it's not just the Crawleys who have stories left to tell. The film's tied up some loose ends for the staff, but there's still plenty of room for new characters and developments downstairs. With characters like Mr. Mason moving in with Mrs. Patmore, and Thomas venturing into a secret relationship with a film star, there's fertile ground for new faces and fresh drama. Plus, with Downton's rich historical backdrop and the never-ending scandals the family seems to attract, there's no shortage of material for future storylines. By exploring Downton's future, we can find answers to lingering questions and give much-needed depth to characters who deserve it. In short, another season of Downton Abbey would be a perfect continuation of the beloved show's legacy. What hurdles might the next generation of Crawleys face? Well, considering Downton Abbey: A New Era is set in 1928, just a few years after Season 6, the children are still quite young. To maintain the show's tone and focus on these characters, a time jump would likely be necessary, but that's doable. Given the 9-year gap since Season 6, the actors have aged while the characters haven't much. Jumping ahead to the late 1930s would place Sybils, George, and Marigold in their young adult years, primed to step into the roles their parents once played in the early seasons of Downton Abbey. This opens up a plethora of plot possibilities. With the world rapidly changing, Downton is constantly under the threat of financial ruin, despite Robert and Mary's efforts to keep the estate afloat. While the Crawley children lead privileged lives, as seen with Mary, Edith, and Sybil, that privilege doesn't shield them from life's challenges. George, Sybils, Marigold, and the others will come of age in the tumultuous era of World War II. History has always been a key player in the drama of Downton Abbey, from the Titanic's impact in the first episode to World War I, which profoundly affected each family member. Just as Sybil found independence as a nurse and Mary and Matthew's feelings blossomed during their separation, their children will face similar opportunities and trials. The show has already touched on this theme with Marigold's father, Michael Gregson, meeting his fate at the hands of Nazis in Germany. Such significant historical events provide a perfect backdrop for a revival season. Season 7 of Downton Abbey should shine the spotlight on the next generation. Since the series' debut, we've followed the ups and downs of 3 distinct Crawley generations: the formidable Dowager Countess Violet, the Earl of Grantham Robert, and his wife Cora, along with their daughters Mary, Edith, and the late Sybil. However, as the story bids farewell to Sybil, and more recently Violet, the family's numbers have dwindled. Yet the Crawleys have expanded in their ways. Mary tied the knot with Robert's heir Matthew, and they welcomed a son George. Sybil introduced the chauffeur Tom Branson into the fold, and they had a daughter Sybils. Edith faced her own challenges, including motherhood to her illegitimate daughter Marigold. By the series' end, Mary, Edith, and Tom had found new loves and continued to grow the family. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below. What do you think Season 7 of Downton Abbey should focus on? Let us know your thoughts, and thank you so much for watching.